Hi, I'm Bill. This is Detroit Commercial Photo and Video. And the question of the day in week 8, I think we said, okay, is do you work with an assistant? If so, what does he do? And do you ever work with a second shooter? Good questions there. Really good questions. Why? It's going to affect a little bit of the dollars and cents, okay? Always going to affect a little bit of the dollars and cents. But those dollars and cents are probably some of the best spent dollars and cents, believe it or not, okay? So let's touch base. You got a wedding going on. You expect the photographer to coordinate everybody. You expect the photographer to set up the posing, if you would, as much as we all hate that word, okay? You expect the photographer to work with the lighting. You expect the photographer to get some awesome shots, okay? Well, that's a lot to ask in the pressure cooker of a wedding. So most experienced wedding photographers will in fact work with an assistant, because the assistant can help with some of those things like lighting or rounding up people, okay, for group photos, okay. The assistant can do a lot of different things in the case of a wedding. Very good, well spent. You got a wedding, first class wedding. You've got 700 guests coming to that wedding, okay? You have got a band, you've got a DJ, you've got umpteen different types of events for people to do. You are throwing the bash of the century for your area, okay? This is it, baby. Nothing gets any bigger than this, okay? You got people do assigned parking out there. It's that big of a deal, okay? In which case, you might very well want the photographer with a second shooter. Very valid. Why? Because the photographer can in fact work with 200, 300, 400 people, but he's not going to be able to properly cover an event that has got 700, 800, 900, 1,000 people at it. He just can't do it. You can't be in everywhere at once. So for proper coverage in a case like that, you're going to want a second shooter. So let's talk about that. Most of the time for a second shooter, that's kind of conveyed to the larger weddings, and that's pretty much it in most instances. There's probably some exceptions to that. Certain corporate events you may want a second shooter, but by and large that's pretty much it. You have one shooter for most things, okay? But most photographers, including moi, prefers to work with an assistant. An assistant can be absolutely invaluable as far as getting the job done in a timely manner. Let's say it's products, okay? Well, you've got all the lighting set up, you've got all those things set up, and boom, okay? He's operating the camera. Now he's got to stop and move the product here and move the product this way and move the product the other way, and then come back and refocus and reset up everything again. Once again, that's where an assistant comes in, as he's working perhaps with the product kind of thing and maneuvering things around, bringing the next product in line. So assistant can save a ton of time, thereby getting the job done in a very timely manner. So it's pretty fair on your part, your question. If you're going to hire a photographer, and I don't care if it's going to be for the wedding, as we talked about, or it's going to be for a product shoot, okay, or it's going to be for a food shoot, okay, or it's going to be for most types of shoots, other than maybe a small corporate event, okay, you know. But in most instances, you do want your photographer to have an assistant, because it will allow him to be more efficient, being able to cover your event better for you, and so that you can get the kind of quality and the kind of images that you're looking to get. Super important to do so. Now this is also true, this holds true by the way, and we're going to throw you a real sling, even more true if it's video that you're doing. If it's video, you definitely want assistance for your videographer, okay? Because he can't possibly deal with equipment and do with everything at one time, okay? So that's the post for today. And the question of the day is a very valid question. Mark this one down. When you're looking to hire your next photographer, do you work with an assistant? Do you work with an assistant? Excellent question, fair question to ask, so you know what to expect and how to plan, okay? You know a little better as to what's going to happen and how it's going to turn out in the end. So another good question there for you, and that's what this whole series is about, is good questions. And we're also going to put our website right up here, okay? So if you have a question, you want to see any of our work, please feel free to just copy that down and go to it, okay? And that's Detroit Commercial Photo and Video. And right up here in the corner, we're going to put a little link so that if you haven't, you can go there and see the very first in the series that we did on this, and that was tips on hiring a professional photographer. That was the kickoff to this whole series. That way you can see the whole series in chronological order type of thing. So that's the post for today. Sure appreciate you checking in again. Thank you very much. By the way, if you have any comments, please be sure to leave them, okay? If you have a suggestion for something you'd like us to chat about, kind of let that be known too. I'd appreciate that as well, okay? So we're also looking for some weeks ahead for another series. So if you got any thoughts on another series, that would be marvelous. Anything to do with photography or video would be absolutely phenomenal, okay? So in the meantime, have a good one. Subscribe while you're here, okay? Bye. See you later now. Have a good one.